paradox choice? You walk into a store just to buy a chocolate bar. You know exactly what you want. But now, in front of you, are 150 different options. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate, with nuts, sugar-free, with sea salt, handcrafted, from a small Italian factory, with caramel, with coconut, with crispy rice, with pink pepper, with violets, 85% cocoa, 90%, 99%. You reach out and grab one. But then you notice another. What if it's better? You compare packaging, prices, ingredients. One promises a rich flavor, another a silky texture, and a third features premium cocoa beans from a rare region. You swap one for another. Then again, 10 minutes pass. You realize you're no longer trying to pick the best chocolate. You just can't decide. You came to the store thinking that having options would make you happier. But instead, you feel stressed and uncertain. You finally pick one and head to the checkout. But as you walk out of the store, an uneasy thought lingers. What if the other one was better? Congratulations. You've fallen into the choice trap. What just happened? You assumed that more options would make it easier to find the perfect one. But in reality, the more choices you have, the harder it is to decide. Your brain gets overloaded with information. Every option seems like it could be the best, but it's impossible to compare them all. And when you finally choose, you don't feel happy about what you picked. You feel regret over what you didn't pick. How this affects your life. You deal with this every day. Choosing a movie or show. You scroll through Netflix for 40 minutes and still don't start anything. The more options there are, the harder it is to pick one. And here's the irony. If you randomly start something and get hooked, you'll be fine. But if you spent too long deciding, you'll always wonder, what if another movie was better? Choosing a partner. You meet someone and think, what if there's someone better? In the past, people had a few potential partners. Now, you have thousands of profiles on Tinder. Even if you find a great person, it feels like there's always a chance of finding someone even better. Choosing what to buy. You want to buy a new phone, but instead of enjoying the purchase, you spend hours watching reviews, comparing specs, reading expert opinions. And even after buying it, you think, maybe I should have picked another one. Choosing a career. You can be anything. And that's exactly why you don't know what you want to be. The more possibilities you have, the harder it is to decide. Because if you choose wrongly, then what? Why does this happen? The more options you have, the higher the cost of making a mistake. If you have two choices, it's easy to pick the better one. But if there are 150, how do you know which is truly best? It feels like choosing wrong could be a disaster. Our brains aren't built for analyzing huge amounts of data. In the past, people didn't have 100 versions of the same thing. Our minds evolved for simple choices. But now, we're overwhelmed with too much information, and it causes stress. Instead of satisfaction, choice creates anxiety. The more options you have, the harder it is to feel happy, because you'll always wonder what you missed out on. Paradox. Predicted future. You're walking down the street, minding your own business. The sun is blinding, kids are running around, someone is chatting on the phone, and the hum of traffic creates the usual background noise. But suddenly, you notice a man. He's standing by a lamppost, looking straight at you. Not just looking, waiting. As you pass him, he takes a step forward and says, "Don't stop, just keep walking." You slow down slightly, but he steps forward again, this time speaking softer, almost in a whisper. If you stop now, something terrible will happen in 30 minutes. Your brain instantly registers these words. You don't want to pay attention to them. It's absurd. Nonsense. But here's the strange part. You've already stopped. You weren't planning to, were you? Now you have a choice. 1. Laugh it off and keep walking. 2. Stay put and see what he meant. But no matter what you choose, you're already trapped. You didn't know about this prediction until he spoke it. Now, you can't not think about it. You keep walking. But now, you're counting the minutes. You check the time on your phone. It's moving as usual, but it feels different. You don't know what is supposed to happen, but your brain is already searching for possibilities. Is there a dangerous intersection ahead? Could a construction crane collapse? Will you end up in some bad situation? The closer you get to the appointed time, the stronger the anxiety. Are you scared? But of what exactly? This is the strangest part. You're not even afraid of the event itself. You're afraid of knowing about it. You look around, searching for signs. Minute 27. You notice a man suddenly pulling out his phone. You remember movies where this is how terrorist attacks begin. Minute 28. A black car with tinted windows drives by. Minute 29. You're no longer sure what's worse, if something happens, or if nothing does. What if the fear was baseless? What if you imagined all of this yourself? Minute 30. You see a news update on a store display screen. Accident on Main Street. Several injured. Your brain instantly connects two facts. 1. You were warned about a catastrophe. 2. A catastrophe happened. Now, it seems obvious that these facts must be connected. But here's the catch. If no one had told you, would you have even noticed that news? Or would you have just walked by, like any other day? What just happened? You've encountered the paradox of a predicted future. It's based on one simple idea. When someone tells you something will happen, you start looking for proof. You can't verify if it's true or not, but your perception begins shaping reality around that idea. It's a trap. Once you're told about an event, it will always seem significant, even if it was just a coincidence. Your brain doesn't like coincidences. It wants patterns. You initiated the chain of events yourself. You're a victim of suggestion, not prediction. How does this work in real life? It's everywhere. Horoscopes. You read that, today will be stressful. Now you start noticing proof. Someone was rude to you in a store? See, it's true. You dropped your phone? Well, yeah, bad day. Predictions. Someone says, a crisis is coming. You start feeling anxious. Everything seems unstable. You fear losing money. Withdraw it from your account. The bank suffers losses. The crisis becomes real. Superstitions. A black cat crossing your path brings bad luck. Now, any little inconvenience seems like proof that the cat really cursed your day. This is a cognitive trap. You can't prove the prediction was real, but now it will always influence your perception. Paradox, sunk costs. You buy a movie ticket. Everyone is raving about the film. You're excited. You enter the theater, settle into a comfy seat. The lights dim. The movie begins, but something feels off. The dialogue is dull. The plot drags. Everything seems boring. 20 minutes in, you realize you're not enjoying this. A thought pops into your head. Maybe I should leave. But another one follows immediately. I paid for the ticket. So you keep watching. Another 30 minutes pass. The movie is still bad. But now, your reasoning changes. I've already watched half of it. If I leave now, that time will have been wasted. So you endure. Another 40 minutes pass. The movie is awful, but you're still sitting there. Your new logic. I've already spent an hour. Only 30 minutes left. I've suffered this much. I might as well finish it. The credits roll. The movie is over. You walk out of the theater with an unpleasant feeling. You just wasted 2 hours on something you didn't like. But the most ironic part? You realize this 20 minutes in. So why didn't you leave? Congratulations. You've fallen into the sunk cost trap. What just happened? Your brain is wired to hate losses. Once you've invested money, time, or effort into something, walking away feels painful. You feel like if you quit now, everything you invested will be for nothing. So instead of cutting your losses, you keep investing, even when it makes no sense. How this affects your life. You experience this all the time. Toxic relationships. You know the relationship isn't working, but you stay because I've already put so many years into this. A job you hate. You despise your job, but you're scared to quit because I studied for years. I spent so much time. How can I just throw it all away? A business that's failing your business isn't making money, but you keep going because I've invested so much. If I stop now, it'll all be wasted. Bad investments. You buy stocks. They start dropping. Instead of selling and cutting your losses, you hold on because if I sell now, I'll lose money. What if they go up again? Useless purchases. You buy an expensive jacket, but it's uncomfortable. Instead of giving it away, you force yourself to wear it because I already spent money on it. I can't just throw it out. Why does this happen? We hate losing more than we love gaining. Studies show that losing $1,000 causes more psychological pain than finding $1,000 brings joy. Your brain clings to past investments, even if they no longer matter. We also fear admitting mistakes. If you leave a bad movie, you're admitting that you chose poorly. But if you sit through it, you can tell yourself, at least I didn't give up. And here's the biggest trap. Your brain doesn't see sunk costs as past investments. Even though the money is already spent and the time is already gone, your mind acts like you can still save your investment. But the truth is, that money and time are gone forever. Continuing only increases your losses. The smartest move? Cut your losses early. Paradox, observer. You're walking through a park. It's a pleasant evening. The sun is setting. A gentle breeze rustles the leaves. But then you notice something strange. A person nearby is holding up their phone, filming an empty bench. You walk past, but an uneasy feeling lingers inside. What did they see? You glance back, but there's nothing there. Just a regular bench. You keep walking. But a minute later, a thought creeps in. What if I missed something? Curiosity makes you turn around again. Now, a small group of people has gathered in front of the bench. They're staring at it, trying to figure out what's special. The person with the phone is still filming. You can't leave now. You stop and stare too. Because if so many people are paying attention, something must be there, right? What just happened? You've fallen into the observer trap. The paradox is simple. When we see someone paying attention to something, we automatically assume it must be important. Your brain is wired to copy the focus of others. Instead of analyzing the situation yourself, you trust the behavior of those around you. It's deeply ingrained in our psychology. And here's the irony. Every person in the crowd is doing the exact same thing. None of them actually sees anything unusual. They just think someone else does. It's a chain reaction. And now, Imagine someone starts taking photos of the sky. What will you do? That's right. You'll look up. You're caught. How this affects your life. You encounter this every single day. Social media. You see a video with millions of views. You have no idea what it's about. But a thought pops up. If so many people watched it, it must be worth my time. You hit play without even thinking. But why? You don't know if the video is good. You just see other people's attention. And now it's yours. Crowds in the city. You walk past a restaurant and see a long line outside. You've never heard of the place. But your brain whispers, if there's a line, it must be good. You don't check the menu. You don't read reviews. You trust the crowd. Popular trends. A new song is everywhere. It's in TikTok videos, playing on the streets, in stores. At first, it seems ordinary. But a week later, you're humming the lyrics. You don't even realize when you started liking it. You simply absorb the attention of those around you. Fear and panic. You enter the subway. Everything is calm. But suddenly, someone starts running for the exit. Then another person. Then another. You have no idea what's happening. But your instincts scream, run! You don't know if there's an actual threat. But if others are running, you better run too. Why does this happen? When we lack information, we copy others. If you don't know if a restaurant is good, if a movie is worth watching, or if a decision is right, you simply observe what others do. Our brains treat other people's attention as a signal of importance. If someone stares at something, we assume there's something there. And crowds create self-sustaining illusions. People watch because others are watching. They assume others know something important, but in reality, no one knows anything. And now, thousands of people believe in an empty bench. Paradox uncertainty. You stand before a door. In front of you are two buttons, one red, one blue. You have no idea what will happen if you press either of them. No instructions, no hints, no clues. Someone tells you, you must choose. You stare at the buttons. Your brain desperately searches for a clue, but there's nothing. The red one looks dangerous. The blue one seems safer. But what if that's the trap? What if the only right choice is to not press anything at all? You freeze. The more you think about it, the harder it gets. You haven't even made a choice yet, but you already feel anxious. You're stuck. Congratulations. You've fallen into the uncertainty trap. What just happened? The human brain hates uncertainty. When faced with two choices but zero information, the mind starts to panic. You're trapped in a situation where making the wrong choice is scary, but not choosing at all feels even worse. This is a survival mechanism. In ancient times, uncertainty could mean death. If you didn't know what was behind the next hill, a safe haven or a predator, it was safer not to risk it. But in the modern world, this instinct works against us. Your brain isn't just confused. It's afraid of not knowing. And the longer the uncertainty lasts, the more stressful it becomes. Here's the craziest part. The longer you delay a decision, the scarier it feels. You start seeing danger where there is none. How this affects your life. You deal with this every day, waiting for a reply. You send an important message. 10 minutes pass. Nothing. 20 minutes. Silence. 1 hour. You keep staring at your screen. Your brain starts analyzing every detail. Did I say something wrong? Why aren't they replying? Did they even read it? After a few hours, you're sure the reply will be negative. But maybe the person is just busy. The problem isn't the response, it's the waiting. If they had just replied no immediately, you would have moved on. But while you wait, your brain creates dozens of negative scenarios. Fear of the future. You want to change jobs, move to a new city, start a business. But you hesitate. Why? You haven't even tried yet. You don't know if it will be better or worse. But that's exactly what scares you. The unknown. Our brains are wired to treat uncertainty as danger, even when it isn't. That's why so many people stay in uncomfortable situations. Not because they like them, but because they're familiar. Making a choice. Without information. You walk into a restaurant and open the menu. Just a list of dish names. No photos. No descriptions. You scroll up and down, trying to decide. You've never tried any of these dishes. You don't know which one you'll like. The longer you take, the harder it gets. In the end, you order something familiar. Not because it's the best choice, but because it's predictable. Your brain isn't trying to get the best outcome. It's trying to avoid risk. Why this happens? The human mind craves certainty. It's easier to handle a bad outcome than to sit in limbo. If someone knows for sure they'll get fired, they start preparing. But if they're not sure, they become paralyzed. A lack of information causes fear, anxiety, procrastination. Your brain starts searching for patterns where there are none, overanalyzing details that don't matter, and imagining worst-case scenarios. And here's the worst part. When faced with the unknown, your brain assumes the worst. Because from an evolutionary perspective, avoiding danger is more important than seeking reward.